Good morning, friends. Thursday, the 6th of March already. We are well into March. Yeah, I had this plan. I was going to make a video yesterday afternoon. Well, I made a bunch of videos yesterday, as a matter of fact. My plan was to just make a bunch of stuff because I was having fun. I was in my home having fun, just hanging out, drinking coffee, making videos, being creative, giving myself a laugh, giving some other people a laugh, just having fun. Just having fun, And I was like, when later in the afternoon comes, we'll get to that high point of the day when the temperatures are at the max, and then I'll leap in there and be like, okay, here's your forecast for this afternoon. You know what happened? By the time we got to that point of the afternoon, I was about to record, there was so much negativity being thrown at my page, at all my pages. I get hate mail, I get hate messages. It's like I'm just a guy who's trying to have fun here. I'm scraping by. Ugh. Let's roll the fucking intro and then we'll finish talking about this.
There it is. This is bad news.
My God.
Falling out right now. Anything could happen.
Get on!
Wow. I'll watch the video later.
3 more bags of water.
They try mopping this.
So yeah, this is what I'm doing for my living right now. There's no work in Wells still. I'm waiting for fire season to start. I'm waiting for jobs to come open. I have some jobs lined up in the spring. A construction job for a bridge with those guys again. That's coming up. Yeah, that might happen still. There's some renovations for the hotel that Diggy's Diner's in here, the Whitecaps, there's things coming up, but still, it's the dead of the winter in Wells. It's a dead time. I'm scraping to get by here in life. So I make videos. The revenue that comes in from the videos, that's what, when you watch those advertisements, that puts money into my pocket, right? So every time you just come here and watch a video, you're helping me. You're helping me. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. You're keeping me alive. But I've been struggling to try to get views to the channel lately, and I just keep, I'm making stuff. And yesterday I thought, I'm just going to have fun today. These are all going to be fun videos, and then still the haters come, just talk about the weather, Joey, and then, and these were comedy videos, and one guy's like, did you do your research? It's a fucking comedy video about parents fighting at a hockey game, buddy. Is this what my role in society is, to be your punching bag? So you can sit there and stick with the view then. Go ahead. Why do you need to come here and beat up on me? You're welcome for the free forecasts I made for you whenever I make them. For free. It doesn't cost you anything. Out of the goodness of my fucking heart, I've been doing this. And you get to come and abuse me and slam me and trash me. Some guy who wears tampons. Fuck you. That's what I have to say. And then when I defend myself, I can't believe this is how you talk to your fans. You aren't a fan. You said I wear tampons. You insulted my sexuality. You're going to play the victim now? You come on here and insult me. They can't believe this is how you're talking to me. These are all distortions. You could say something like, sorry, Joey, you're right. You're just having fun making videos, and that was particularly mean of me. I understand now how that gutted you through the afternoon having to deal with this and many other comments like it, and took away your joy of making weather videos. I understand that myself, Craven, am the reason Joey didn't make a forecast video yesterday. Okay, now that I'm done talking about that, let's just get on with the weather. Okay, I know. Let's talk about the weather. Just talk about the weather, Joey. Just talk. It's hard, man. It gets hard. It gets hard being in the public, having to put up with the hostility all the time. And, and the thing is, maybe if I was on the Weather Network and I was making $100,000, I'd come in, do my job, make a weather video, and go home. But that's not what it's like for me. So anyways, there's really nothing in BC worth mentioning right now. A bit of a fog advisory that'll dissipate in the Cariboo right now. We have special air quality statement over on the west side, right? But nothing really pressing right now. We do have the weather coming, though. We will be talking about the weather that's coming. And then all that nastiness, that major severe storm outbreak down in the United States this week, it's finally that energy's made its way up to the north, and that's why we're now seeing there was heavy rain, but we got flash freeze warning now in southern Ontario. Looks like Watch that. If you're watching today, Mom, be aware of the flash freeze warning. If you go a little further north, flash freeze warning still up there. Okay. I was expecting to see snowfall up here, but we're just seeing flash freezing warnings. Okay, that's really interesting. Winter storm warning in the north. So there's 5 centimeters up, and that's all the areas. Just not too far from where you were just snowmobiling with Aunt Marlene and Uncle Steve there, Mom. Yeah, actually. Right into that same part of the province there. And then same with, if you go over towards Frankie's getting 50 millimeters on him today. Well, maybe not in Frankie, maybe south of him. No, Sydney's out of it. But up in the Highlands, the sweat wind warning, 90 kilometers an hour. So just a real widespread range of different kinds of warnings and statements right now in the eastern half of the country. So if you live in any of these areas, you might want to be looking somewhere other than me right now to be talking about this. I'm a western forecaster, and these are eastern problems. But still, 120-kilometer winds up there on the Newfoundland coast. 140-kilometer-hour gusts possible on Friday morning. Wow, that is some pretty intense wind. So that's the story on the bad news battle board today. Yeah, okay. Well, let's have a look. BC, we got this atmospheric river coming in this weekend to the coast. Some major storms. So let's have a bit of a look at that. And I tell you, we will be talking about this lots on the meteorological report tonight. So if you tune in at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time Plus, that's when we'll have, we got Ryan Voutilainen on tonight as well. So he's the special guest this week. That's a really good one. Stoked on that. And of course, we have meteorologist Mark. He'll be here. He's been talking about earthquakes a lot lately. There's another one yesterday, a magnitude 4. So I know Mark will be bringing some charts he's been making at work on the earthquake activity. So keep yourself ready for that. But yeah, we'll be talking about that atmospheric river today and more on this channel right here, live streaming 6:30. Frankie McDonald comes on at 7. Going to be a good time. Okay, let's have a look at the storm. So what I'm saying is I'm not going to make a 25-minute long video right now looking at this potential storm this weekend, because we'll be talking about it lots tonight, right? So this just gives you a quick overview, and we'll get on with the rest of our day here. Well, here's a little look from outer space today at the last 12 hours. One thing you might notice, so this is our East Coast storm that we were just looking at on the battle board there. And this storm is the one that's basically slid up the coastline here, but it was the guy that made all the nastiness on Tuesday, some definite tornadoes on the ground. Maybe it was oversold a little, maybe it underproduced. It could have been. The setup seemed to be there for a pretty nasty tornado outbreak, and it just didn't really take off. Nonetheless, this next bunch of crap that's now heading into the Rocky Mountains down in the U.S., that probably will be your next chance for something severe to break out for the United States. So don't worry about that. California had a fair bit of rain yesterday. Even Jimmy Kimmel was talking about it last night. The unusual rain story they had there. Still pretty stormy out in the Pacific. There's not a real lack of moisture being thrown around there in sort of a storm setting. So the high pressure block being basically stable, returning to where it should be on the Pacific coast off the California coast today. So their weather will soon be an X story. But you can see for us, BC, we got a large amount of crap coming at us this weekend. This is what we're going to be talking about right here. The high pressure is really set to just be that conveyor belt we want to launch all this shit right into BC. So let's find out how that happens. Here's this pale blue dot. So next storm there, starting into the Rocky Mountains we were just talking about. Just waiting for everything to get moving here. There's our Atlantic Canada storm. And now northern BC already taking a little bit of snowfall today. This afternoon. Nothing too serious, nothing too significant. But this storm is getting some cohesion, organizing itself nicely, pulling itself together in time for the weekend. It'll be the first one to do so. We're going to see... they're calling it a breakdown of the polar vortex next week, and I suppose it is in a sense. But, you know, when you think of that, most people in Canada think of extreme cold, and that's probably not the case necessarily for most of us in southern Canada. No, but it's still, yeah, I mean, it is technically an Arctic a breakdown of the Arctic air mass and escaping out, but won't be as cold. But nonetheless, that will be something to be looking at in the coming days. But still, here we go. Big time snowfall starting on northern BC and Friday up and down that central coast and north. Haida Gwaii going to be hitting with a heavy rain, a heavy wind. So we're looking at this, and this is a real atmospheric river suddenly coming together as this low takes up the entirety of the Gulf of Alaska, the high pressure in behind it, giving it a nice methodology to focus it. So focused it is, and now you can really see that that atmospheric river has been sliding down the coast all day Friday, which is good news for the most part that it's been sliding down the coast. Southern BC seeing really very little at that point. It's mostly a coast and north thing. That low really established, entrenched, not doing too much, and now is when I'm concerned that we might see that atmospheric river stall out a little bit, so we'll be kind of keeping our eyes out, but no statements so far from BC River Forecast Center, and we do see that it is kind of moving still. It's kind of moving. We'd like to see that keep moving, but look at all that's going to be just ridiculous amount of rain hitting into the Vancouver Island. Going to be really insane snow on Saturday morning. Now we're going to start to see that spill into southern BC. Finally, Caribou Mountains getting our turn. Up the Rockies now, even towards the Pine Pass, maybe just at the edge of it. A little bit of rain in the central interior as we warm up during the day. But it looks like that atmospheric river has really stalled itself at Vancouver Island. So I expect to see some statements from BC River Forecast Center pretty soon. That's now much of the day. It's been more or less parked in this one little area. So that's what we want to... that's the real outlier this next bunch of days is what's this going to do? We got a nice looking atmospheric river, and our low finally is starting to weaken itself off by late on Saturday, but still by then we've had, well, except for the lowest areas in the central interior. But if you have travel plans on Saturday, these are the kinds of things you want to be looking at. If you got travel plans on Sunday, these are things you want to be concerned about. Do we see the chance of some washouts and landslides and things like that? Most certainly. Is this going to affect the avalanche conditions in general? Yeah, I'm sure tomorrow that's what I'll be talking about here on the channel. So atmospheric river really paying southern BC a visit this weekend, and it won't be the end of our stories, sure, but yeah, okay. You got the picture. Sunday morning to afternoon, southern BC proper, not taking it. So we're still talking about mostly here a story for us in the Caribou Mountains, mostly up and down the coast. Some rainfall in that central interior. Quesnel, Sunday, you're going to take some precip. Prince George, Williams Lake, you're probably taking some precip. Yeah, could be even pretty solid at times. McBride, you're going to be seeing precip. Finally, overnight Sunday, we're going to watch that slide on down, begin to work itself out before the next one comes. And look, there will be a next one, okay? So don't worry about that. When we talk about work week weather in a couple days, we'll have much to talk about because next one comes. It's like that low more or less just redevelops. It's not really a separate low per se. No, but that's just for us in BC. That's just that's not even talking about those lows when they get into the prairies, what they're going to do for people in the prairies. So I expect to see a band of snow come through end of the weekend, early next week for you in the prairies. Lots of fun times. And then even then that Arctic outbreak I was talking about, is it much of an Arctic outbreak? Not for, when you say that, you're usually thinking extreme cold. And maybe if you're in Northern Ontario, look, overnight on next week, Wednesday, minus 23 in the Rockies, not out of the question, right? So there's some cold air out there. I think these storms will be probably pushing on them a lot. We'll see how much BC actually gets into that cold at night next week. But that'll be a story, a weather maker, a story that we'll be following in general. As you can just see already, that big low showing up, the tornado season is on for the Americans. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say today. That's already been too much. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. keep coming on back. Thanks all the support. And sorry, haters. I can't take it sometimes. I can't. Do you feel good about yourself? Shitting on people trying to do things? You know, get a life. Get a life. Okay, bye now.